In today's episode, we'll sit down with Lisa Diersen and Susan Hart to talk about the Iberian connection and the Eastern Region Andalusian Horse Club.
Welcome to the EQUUS Film and Arts Fest podcast, the premier program for horse lovers with a fondness for film, art, and literature. Tune in for web chats and conversations with equestrian filmmakers, artists, and authors from around the world, discussing the nature and challenges, as well as the triumphs of creating their work. Ready to talk horses, film, and the arts? Join host Julianne Neal along with Lisa Diersen, festival founder and director, as we chat with our guests for this episode.
Hi, I'm Lisa Diersen. I'm the founder and director of the EQUUS Film Festival and the Mustang Summit. I'm here today with Susan Hart. Susan's going to tell us a little bit about what she does, and then we'll tell you a little bit about what our madness is.
Hi, I'm Susan Hart with the Eastern Region Andalusian Horse Club. I'm the president for the past 3 years. And what we do is we're a community that supports the Spanish and Portuguese horse. And we educate people, we promote the breed, and we put on events. So I'm here at the Equine Affaire in Ohio, and I wanted to meet up with one of our board members, Lisa, as well as talk about how we're going to expand the club and be a little more inclusive and encompassing of the Iberian breed and all its genetically connected horses.
So what we did, you started a question with me about the Mustang horses. And so hopefully when this comes out, it will be after some changes have happened with the Eastern Region Andalusian Horse Club. And it will be a really positive batch of changes that are going to happen. And when we started this little journey, we were able to pull together 50 plus other Iberian lines of horses, whether they were marsh tacky horses or Spanish Mustangs or American Mustangs or Chincoteague ponies. They fall into what will now be known as an open Iberian category. So it will create a bigger community for this club, or this association now, what it will be, and it'll give people different goals, and instead of just being shows, if people don't go out and show their horses, but they still do stuff with their horses. So can you tell me a little bit about how you think that's going to work?
So we've always said that the Spanish and Portuguese horse can do it all, basically. They're so talented. They could do dressage, they could drive, they can do endurance. There are so many different aspects of this horse and their versatility. So, and they're so far few in between. There might be a few pockets of the horse here and there. So we wanted to create a community of all owners of these horses to show off what they actually can do. So we have a place for them to come to, a place for them to discuss the horse breed, the training of it, using webinars, our website, social media as well, for people that may be anywhere in the country that don't have these horses that are, they compete maybe against quarter horses, or maybe they don't compete at all, but at least they know that there are other people that have these horses and that we could come together.
Yep. So we had talked a little bit about if you have a trail riding horse, if you take your horse out and competitively endurance ride, trail riding, you can keep track of your miles, and at the end of the year there might be an award, a category, and we could have so many people entering that category. It could be age divisions, but you would be awarded and recognized for your accomplishment with your horse. It doesn't have to be in a show ring. You might live in Upper Michigan, where we talk to some people who do competitive riding, trail riding and everything with their horses. And here we turn around, and they were super excited with the idea of having our Iberian horses recognized for what they're doing, because when they're at an endurance ride, they're competing against Arabians, which of course pretty much so are hands down going to beat out a lot of stuff. But now the little Mustang horses are giving the Arabian horses a run for their money. So with working equitation, we know by having Lusitanos or Andalusians that pretty much so those horses, if you take them to a working ex show, are going to do well. The American Mustang horse or the Marsh Tacky horse are all going to excel in those sports. So it's going to give I love the idea of the inclusion that it's going to give. I love the idea of how many new people, not just here in this country, but around the world. It will be the only organization in the world to recognize every Iberian horse breed under one umbrella. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that this is something that you are so excited about and so supportive about, and so the more we do, the more excited I get.
Same here. Originally, the club is 30 plus years old. So the club's been around for a very long time. It focused on the registries in America. And it's just so much more than that. It really is. And I'm excited to see horses with these two bloodlines, the Spanish and the Portuguese, to make a nod to them for the foundation that they've given all these other breeds. It's very exciting. And I think sometimes it feels very lonely if you have a horse, maybe an Azteca or just even a Spanish horse where there aren't a lot around. You want to connect with people that have these horses. So I'm really excited about the influence of these two horses have made in the world, and honor all these horses. It's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to this new evolution for the club.
Yeah. So one of the things that we also pulled together was a list of what are some of the things that they can be recognized for. And when we sat down, and even if you're just in your barn and you have a group that does quadrille, but they don't go out and show, they're either a classical barn or they're just friends that do quadrille, they'll have the ability to send a video, and that can get judged, and they'll get recognized by the group. And so inclusion, I mean, we found driving, working equitation, long lining, and work in hand, Western dressage, barrel racing. There's kids doing everything with their horses. And if we don't take and find a place for people to come in on the bottom, just learning, and you have that first horse, that first step into the horse world, if we can keep them all, that first step is in an Iberian horse, and you're top of what you want to get when you grow up. You start with your beautiful little Mustang, and you want to have that beautiful Lusitano horse when you grow up, that unicorn that I have, that I love my unicorn, but that's there. But there's still, I went through many stepping stone horses until I got to my dream horse. Instead of it being people with all of these other breeds, let's make them people from Iberian breeds, smaller Iberian breeds. The Chincoteague pony is considered an Iberian horse. So from the tiniest rider on up, we can accommodate the Iberian loving horse person.
And also by creating a link between like the Mustang and the PRE, the pure Spanish horse, you don't have a lot of opportunity to actually see those horses in person.
Right.
And once you see that horse, it's so impressive. And I've known so many people that have fallen in love with that breed just from seeing one horse, one performance.
Yes.
They're unforgettable. And it's taken me a long time to get to that level of horse. I've had a Hanoverian Lusitano cross, and I loved her. And I had a second, 3/4 to a quarter, and I finally got to that level of having a pure Spanish horse. But it took me many, many years, and you just learn more and more about them. They're very brave. They're sensitive, beautiful. They've got a great temperament and a great mind. So it's just an amazing breed, and I want everybody to learn the history. They're actually a piece of history, a live piece of history, just like the Mustang is a live piece of Americana. When you think of America, you think of the bald eagles and Mustangs and bison. You just think of those animals, and they're so intertwined with the
history
America.
of this country.
Yes, exactly.
And when you actually get in, and that's the cool thing about the webinars, not only are we getting into deep dives into the DNA and that end of the research, which is really turning out to be super cool, because there is no purebred anything, but there is bigger bases of everything. And so as we find that out and get more into that, you also get more into studying the history of how the Spanish horse got here and how they came in with the conquistadors and how those horses went up through the Rocky Mountains and up through the Continental Divide, and their influence on all the horses in the West. It's just so cool. And so it leads the way for more and more interesting educational components that can go into the club that just is, it just enhances it. It gives us more fun things to do, more things for people to engage with and connect with. Create community.
Yes. And I really believe that's the basis of the club is community. We're not about registries. We're not about sports. You can pick any one of those. It's all inclusive of just coming together and loving these breeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming up here and hanging out with us for a few days, so that when people walk up and they go, oh, on your Mustang table, why do you have the Eastern Region Andalusian Horse Club brochure? Well, let me tell you why. And let me tell you about the fun and exciting things you're going to be able to do with your Mustangs and your Spanish horses and your Marsh Tacky horses and on of those 50 plus list of horses. So it just gives us an opportunity to expand and grow and build a community of Iberian horse lovers. So and thank you to Julianne for hosting us.
Find the link to our sponsors in the show notes.